and not giving any value back. Whereas on Scale, all the staking and slashing and payments for chains and happens on Ethereum. So you actually have to pay Ethereum every time you pay Scale. The same thing's true with rollups. The same thing's true with Polygon is a similar structure to Scale. And so with those scaling solutions, they actually keep funneling value back to ETH, and their value accretive to ETH. And so it's also when people look at the offloading of transactions of Ethereum, if it's literally just people connecting to a separate a blockchain entity and it's sucking value out, it's actually not going to make Ethereum more valuable, and it would go against the flippening belief. But I personally believe that the Ethereum native chains will be so successful because ETH developers recognize this. They believe in Ethereum. They want to stay within the Ethereum family. And you'll see the cost per transaction go down dramatically, and the ETH native kind of family of transactions and value back to Ethereum and kind of decentralized revenue capture continue to grow. And hey, whether or not it flips Bitcoin, I don't like to project on price, but I will say I think the market size is larger for decentralized store value.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't understand the maximalists. There's so many things to do, and it makes no sense to me, just from a common sense perspective. And we're talking about people that I respect their intelligence, and I'm looking at this and going, yeah, but guys, it doesn't do what that does, and it probably never will, so how are we going to do that thing? So whatever.
It's kind of like arguing with somebody who's really smart, but then they start talking about a religious viewpoint, and they're like, well, we're not talking about that, we're talking about some facts. And that's how it's like a religious element of blockchain, where it's like, let's just drop the religion and say we love Bitcoin, we love Ethereum. Mm-hmm. Let's just look at them logically as market segments. Here's a market segment, here's another market segment. How big is the segment? Does one actually take away from the other? No. Actually, the success of Bitcoin drives more success to Ethereum and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I've always been of that mindset. I mean, I remember I was playing with the earliest PCs and the earliest Apple computers, and to this day, I own both. My main computer in my studio right now is a high-end PC, and I use it for recording and I use it for gaming, because you can't get a killer gaming Macintosh. And I use my MacBook, and I've got an iPhone. And these people that are tribal, iPhone's better than Android, Android's better than, you know what? How about both?
Yeah, and the other thing is there's an even finer orthogonal cut here, where if you're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's like comparing less so like Apple and PC. It's more about that's a good religious parallel, but there's another cut of just functionality. It's like, should we compare Salesforce.com that does CRM and Oracle that's and doing ERP and database? Actually, right. No, they're both. Even though Oracle has some CRM properties and marketing automation, but most of their business is coming from the other side of the house, and they're both. You can hold both stocks, and both companies can be really successful. They do different things.
No, you can't. You can't, man. It's In-N-Out burgers or Five Guys. That's it. And you gotta have one or the other. You can't have them both. From California.
What's your favorite? It's like comparing beer and a hamburger. Okay, with one food, the other one is liquid. Like, why should we argue which one we like better?
Fair enough. And by the way, I had to go and look up the word orthogonal. Intersecting or lying at right angles is the definition for those of you that also needed your word of the day. So good use of that right there. So let's wrap up talking about NFTs, because it's one of the things we started with, and we're talking about gas fees. Travis and I are huge fans of the Wax blockchain, though we are blockchain agnostic overall, because we've minted over 1 million NFTs and never paid a gas fee. The RAM that we've paid to mint those NFTs is minimal compared to, what anybody would pay in gas fees. Yet it's undeniable that Ethereum is winning the NFT game overall right now, and I think that's because they were the first, and it's the first mover advantage, and it's what people know. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and the thing is, Ethereum is winning because of the ecosystem. And I think you can look at projects like Wax, and I think they're having a lot of success doing direct selling into all these different entities that are launching NFTs. But Ethereum is doing really well because guess what? Rarible, OpenSea, MetaMask, Wire, Fortmatic, Portis, Bitski, all of these different wallet solutions and NFT marketplaces are all on the Ethereum rails, and it's just such a massive advantage being in those rails. And so, we look at scale. One of the things we're excited about is you can mint NFTs, but you can actually store them on chain. Most NFTs are a smart contract that points to something somewhere else, and it's like
IPFS.
Yeah, and it goes to IPFS, and then a lot of the links on IPFS are tied back to a URI that has on Amazon where an image is being stored. And it's like, oh, I own the Mona Lisa as long as, Bob in Ohio keeps paying his server bill to keep my Mona Lisa image up, and he doesn't switch it with, doesn't Rickroll me. And so if you look at Arweave's been really successful because Arweave you're able to store NFTs right on the chain. Scale has the same functionality because it's a containerized blockchain. And so you can mint NFTs for zero cost. The NFTs live directly on chain, and it's in the Ethereum ecosystem and Rails. And by the way, I appreciate all the work the Wax team's doing, and I think NFTs are such a massive market. I spend about half my time on NFTs right now, and every major brand, every business, every sports team is building an NFT strategy. We are just seeing the beginning.
Yep. No, I know, because we regularly receive emails and calls and DMs from people saying, can you help us? And it's to the point for me where I'm going, I don't know if I can, because there's only one of me, and I can't clone myself. Whereas you're spending 50% of your time on NFTs, I'm about 95%.
Yeah,
I am eyeballs deep in them, and but I'm also a customer. We build what we like to collect, and I go out there and I collect things too. I build my own NFT library, and I flip some and I hodl some, and it's so fun.
Wait, hey, I've got a funny story for you.
Yeah, tell me a funny story.
So I was talking to this guy the other day, and that real serious crypto investor. I'm not going to tell you who he is. He's venture capital person, very very serious into deep tech, and he's like, oh, I'm doing all these breathing exercises. I'm just trying to stay calm and get calm. I was like, well, what's going on? He's like, well, I'm staying up all night trading NFTs. And he's like, but I'm doing these breathing exercises now. I'm really meditating. I'm like, that's great, man. And he's like, but you know what? This is somebody who into this NFT world. So it's just the kind of zeitgeist of where NFTs are. I think NFTs too this is like an early chapter. And the future is it's the Mona Lisa that then gets you access to certain events or discounts on certain merchandise or ability to purchase something before someone else. So the NFT story right now is really about just a static image that is speculative in value that I think is really going to grow to have functional use. So I'm excited to see the next chapters unfold and beginning of this.
Thanks for coming. Scale.network is the website where you guys can check out an elastic blockchain network. So that means when you put your pants on, it's super stretchy to run your dApps in a decentralized modular cloud built for real world needs and configured for your requirements. Deploy with just a few lines of code, it says, and you can see the code and start building. Like, you just hop right in, right?
That's right. I just built something for Ethereum, and 2 lines of code, it's running on Scale.
Boom. There it is. All right, Jack, thanks for coming on today. We appreciate it.
It was fun. Thank you.
Sir Lord Travis, did you learn something?
I did, and actually I want to give a nice shout out to Ginia, who came out to Crypto Monday in Puerto Rico, saw my presentation on NFTs, said she was a great fan of the show. And it's always, I go, wow, we have a great fan? I didn't realize that we had like super fans. And so I guess we have one, and her name is Ginia.
Yeah, didn't you? Well, you met a bunch of people when you went to Crypto Mondays, and apparently there's a couple more fans here in PR.
Yeah, there's some, I went to one, and there was a guy who came up to me, and he said, the whole reason that I'm in Puerto Rico is because of Bad Crypto Podcast. So I hadn't started listening to you guys, I would have never gotten into crypto, and I would have never invested in some of these projects early, and they made enough cash money that they had to move to Puerto Rico for tax savings.
And that's awesome. And I won't name names, but I talked to a dude this last week who said because of listening to our show, he got into Alien Worlds really early, cashed out for $4 million.
What?
Yeah, made
Dude,
a
you know
crap.
what I love about this, man, is like, I know in 2008, 2009, you know, I was meditating, and it was like, one of my missions on this earth is to help create 1,000 millionaires, to help at least 1,000 people become financially independent. And at that time, I thought it was going to be because I was going to start some business or start something that was going to help impact, 1,000 people and help turn them into millionaires. I was like, I guess I got to make $1 billion, because if I'm making $1 billion, that would be 1,000 million. And so I got to probably make more than $1 billion so I can help. And I was thinking it was that, but when the universe says, hey, this is one of your missions, you don't necessarily know how it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think through the vehicle of Bad Crypto and inspiring people who have been listening to the show for 4 years, I think when it's all said and done, we'll have created way more than 1,000 millionaires. Not because it's financial advice, but because we talk about it and they do their own research and they go out and invest in projects they find suitable, and hopefully we create way more than 1,000 millionaires when it's all said and done, Joel.
We got a lot of smart people listening to us because we don't tell people what to do. So they take the information and they go sift through it and do their own research. If that's one piece of advice we give you, it's to go do your own research. And a lot of you do. In fact, it's super encouraging to us because, having a successful show and making money, that's all fine and good, right? Everybody likes making money, but it's so rewarding when you hear from somebody. It's like, that makes our day. And so if this show has helped you in some way, we'd love to hear from you. Maybe give us a call or email us at badcryptopodcast@gmail.com. If you can make money in crypto, you can remember that email address, and or call us on the Bad Crypto Hotline. It's open 24/7, and we'll record your voice using all the modern technology at its disposal. The phone number, 708-885-9030, 708-885-9030. Like I say, it's open all the time. You can call us. You won't wake us up because we don't actually pick up the phone.
That's true. And you know what? It's like, I've never been money motivated ever. It's like I don't care about money. One of the reasons why is because it's fiat paper money, and I just have always, once I realized it was a scam, I just didn't really care about it. They print as many as they want. It's backed by nothing. I love crypto because crypto's backed by math and it's backed by algorithms, and you know that there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. You know how a lot of these coins are working. But I tell you, one of the things that's so important, I think, is once you make a significant amount of money, it's the impact that you can then have on others. It's like you make $1 million in crypto. Well, you can provide for your family, you can provide for your your parents. If you have some kids, you can help them get moving in the right direction. It's just what the power of what money allows you to impact others around you. I think that's the biggest thing about money. And it's not the stuff you can buy, because you get to a point where you're like, cool, I got enough stuff, what do I need? But making other people's day brighter and helping out other people along the way, that's where a lot of the true magic happens, Joel.
You're absolutely right, my good friend. And I appreciate being on this journey with you, Travis, as well as all of you, the listeners. This is a journey that we started together a little over 4 years ago. In fact, the first episode was Travis and Joel's Excellent Adventure, as